Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell. Although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini. And I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrive Time and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front and from a coaching perspective and from a web presence and branding, and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Boom! Shake the room, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals with great shows like Creator Science. Today, we'll be breaking down a turnkey plan to grow your business 7 times faster so you can achieve time freedom and buy Lamborghinis. To drop these value bombs, I have brought Clay Clark and Steve Currington into EO Fire Studios. Clay is the former U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, founder of 6 multi-million-dollar companies, Forbes contributor, author of 13 books, and host of the 6-time iTunes chart-topping podcast. Steve is one of the top producing mortgage lenders in America and has been a Clay Clark business growth coaching client for over 8 years. He is the VP producing branch manager for CrossCountryMortgage.com and the founder of SteveCurrington.com. And today, Fire Nation, we're going to talk about the power of turnkey marketing systems. We'll talk about the power of turnkey sales systems. We'll talk about the power of turnkey workflows and so much more. But first off, Clay, to those who are new to Entrepreneurs on Fire, who are you and what the heck do you do?
I am an entrepreneur. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have 5 incredible kids, about 40 chickens right now. I have a growing 40-acre estate, multiple homes. But at the end of the day, what I do is I grow successful businesses. So I grew up very poor, and at the age of 15, it occurred to me, I don't want to be poor anymore. And so I started a company called DJConnection.com, which went on to become one of America's largest entertainment companies out of my parents' basement. And I grew that company. I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV, and to fund the business. When I was 20 years old, I was named as Tulsa, Oklahoma's Young Entrepreneur of the Year. At the age of 27, I was the SBA, or the Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year. And now today, I work with 160 clients. I charge those clients $1,700 per month on a month-to-month basis to help them grow their company. And with most of my clients, I get a small percentage of the growth. And so as of last check, our clients last year did $2.3 billion of revenue, and our average client doubled the size of their company within 12 months. And you can see all of the documented case studies at thrivetimeshow.com. And because I do document everything, I'm very fastidious about that. You can see over 2,000 case studies recorded on video. You can see the actual entrepreneurs at thrivetimeshow.com/EO Fire. They're real people who are having real success as a result of learning the real systems that really do work.
Best $1,700 you could spend in a month, Fire Nation. It is unbelievable what Clay's been able to do for his clients. This is his 9th time on Entrepreneurs on Fire. So that's showing you the reason and the results why we keep bringing him back on to this show to rock the microphone. I've been to his 40-acre estate. I can vouch. The office is amazing. The house is amazing. The chickens are amazing. Everything is fantastic. I hope you join Clay at one of his future events, because they are events where you leave saying, I am ready to be on fire. And I want to make the most of our time together here. So let's start by talking about the power of turnkey marketing systems. Go.
One of the guests you're going to hear on today's show, his name is Steve Currington. And when I met Steve Currington, he was a mortgage professional, working very hard, making a lot of phone calls. If you're listening out there today and you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you have some kind of business, you're a plumber, you got to go out there and get customers. And Steve was getting customers by grinding, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's very important to hustle. But what we did with him and with what we do with all of our clients is we develop what's called a three-legged marketing stool, or a proven system that can essentially work without you. And so for Steve's business, we focused on the three legs to make the stable stool of search engine optimization domination. We want to be top of the Google search results. The second is we wanted to implement what's called a Dream 100 marketing system, the system created by Chet Holmes, the late great business coach. Chet Holmes wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's called the Dream 100 system. And the third is we had to have online advertisements that produce leads. And so we don't have 450 different marketing strategies. We don't have 87 different theories. We have 3 moves that we currently use to generate leads that then flow into a funnel where they can be systemically followed up with. And so everybody out there, if you're listening today, you've got to have a turnkey way to reach your customers in a way that doesn't require you to do all of the work. You have to have a turnkey system that is scalable and repeatable. And remember this, folks, complexity fails and simplicity scales. You have to have a turnkey system if you're going to create time freedom and financial freedom in your life.
And Fire Nation, I can just tell you, seeing Clay put this together during his live event was really cool to see. It was a wonder to behold, and you need to be listening and understanding how powerful this process is. Now, we just talked about the power of turnkey marketing systems. What about the power of turnkey sales systems?
Well, okay, if somebody goes to stevecurrington.com, that's one of my clients. It's the mortgage professional, stevecurrington.com. If you go there to get a mortgage, he provides mortgages in all 50 states. And by the way, this just in, there are thousands of companies that do exactly what he does at stevecurrington.com. However, he has a system in place where you're going to get a text message that makes sense. You're going to get a quick follow-up call that makes sense. They don't work bankers' holidays, which makes sense. They have a call script. The calls are recorded for quality assurance. They have all these systems in place. Now, if you switch gears and you go to eitrlounge.com, this is a company that I own, Elephant in the Room. It's a men's haircut grooming lounge chain. We have 5 locations. If you go to that website, we're going to send you a text that makes sense. We're going to follow a script that makes sense. The calls are recorded for quality assurance, and we have a follow-up system that makes sense. Another example of a business that I am involved in, it's called pmhokc.com. And Fire Nation, look this up. This guy went from $600,000 a year of revenue. Check this out, folks. From $600,000 a year of revenue to $1.3 million a month of revenue. He's on pace to doing $22 million of sales this year. And instead of just a guy in a truck who answers the phone when people are reaching out to perfect their home, his company's called Perfect My Home. He now has a system in place where somebody who's not him calls the leads. Somebody who's not him emails the leads and texts the leads. The calls are recorded for quality assurance. And PMHOKC, Tip Top Canine, eitrlounge.com, oxyfresh.com. They all have scalable systems. And I'll just leave you with this final note. If you go to oxyfresh.com, I've been working with that brand for 14 years. We just opened our 507th location of OxyFresh. This guy went from a guy in a truck cleaning carpets to 500 plus franchise locations, and he's now America's highest rated and most reviewed service business. And if you don't believe me, just do a search on Google for carpet cleaning quotes. And the reason why I'm mentioning these companies is because these are actual clients. They're having actual success. And JLD, many of them have been listeners and are listeners to your show because they recognize that when they listened to your show, they thought to themselves, you know what? I can do this. I can actually implement this and turn my dreams into reality. The time will never be just right. To quote Napoleon Hill, I must act now. And these people went to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. They filled out the form. They came to a workshop. And now they're a documented success story. And JLD, when you came to Tulsa, you met a lot of these people. A lot of the people I just mentioned, cool. You've met them in person. And because I only work with 160 clients, I know their names and I can back my claims.
I love all of this. And I can tell you my only negative experience when I went to Tulsa was that I am so mad at myself for this. I had just gotten a haircut before I went. And I was like, I got there and I'm like, I wanted to experience elephant in the room. I've heard you talk about it for years and years and years and how awesome it is. And I was like, I just want to go experience that. And literally, unless I was going to shave my head, I just wasn't able to do that. So next time I come out to Tulsa, I am going to come as a shaggy monster and I am going to experience elephant in the room, the best haircutting experience that I will ever experience. And it's going to be amazing. And I want to bring Steve in here because he's been waiting so kindly, so patiently standing by. And we are talking about the power of turnkey sales systems. So Steve, what do you have to say about that?
I can just tell you, I've watched Clay implemented across many different businesses, and I've been a big Clay Clark fan for a long time. The builder that I work with and that Clay works with, Shaw Homes, originally I connected him to Clay because of what Clay had done for me. My CPA, who's now the largest privately held CPA in the country, Paul Hood, also a Thrive client and also a Clay client. And, Clay does a really good job of, Clay is like a savant, but in many different things. And that's what the best way to describe finding somebody that can just not do a lot of talk, but do a lot of action. There's not a lot of fluff, and you may not like what Clay has to say, but every time he tells me to do something and then I don't do it for 6 months, I'm wishing that I would have started doing it.
Let me jump in here for one quick question, because I would just love to know one thing, because there's a lot of things that you implemented that Clay told you to implement. But what's one thing that you implemented and you're like, oh my goodness, this made such a difference?
Google reviews and putting a system in place to get reviews from every single customer that we close. And we're currently at 730 this morning. I think Google's taken somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 or 600 from us over the years because we plan on getting 3 and losing 1. So, but we're now the highest and most reviewed lender within about 500 miles. And our closest competition has about half of the reviews that we have.
Everything we do these days is based on reviews, Fire Nation. Think about it. Every time I'm in a city that I don't know, or even a city that I do know, I look up a restaurant and it's all about their reviews. I only actually sort by 4.5 and higher. Like that's it. And then there also has to be a high number of reviews to go along with that high ranking, or I'm not even going to see these restaurants. The same thing goes with Uber drivers, with Airbnb renters. I mean, everything that you're doing. And this is why this is such a good process. And we have so much more to talk about around the power of these turnkey systems when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Success Story, hosted by Scott D. Clary, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Success Story features Q&A sessions with successful business leaders, keynote presentations, and conversations on sales, marketing, business startups, and entrepreneurship. One of Scott's recent episodes was with none other than Jack Canfield, where they discuss adapting to life's twists and turns. Listen to Success Story wherever you get your podcasts. More and more entrepreneurs and investors are discovering the awesome franchise opportunities that exist outside of food. Franchising can simply be the better path, and interest in franchising is at an all-time high. Lucky for you, John Austenson, founder of Framebridge Consulting and a frequent EOFire guest, is here to help you explore the premier franchise opportunities today. John and his Framebridge Consulting team are part of the largest brokerage in the U.S. and have vetted the market thoroughly. Framebridge is hands down the premier source for the best opportunities in the non-food franchise world. They represent every type of non-food franchise, from healthcare to dumpsters, youth sports to business services, specialized senior care to pet grooming to insulation and floor coatings. John has served as an Inc. 500 franchisor, a multi-brand franchisee, and he does more placements than any other in the country. Sign up for a free consultation call with John today, or get a free copy of his book, Non-Food Franchising, at franbridgeconsulting.com. That's franbridgeconsulting.com. Clay, we're back, and I want to talk about the power of turnkey workflows. Talk to us about that.
If you're listening out there today, go to these websites and look at these systems. So if the tiptopcanine.com, that's a dog training franchise that I've helped to scale, that I'm an equity partner with. And I had a very good friend of mine, and he didn't know that I owned Tip Top Canine. He didn't know I was involved. He didn't know they started out as a client and I grew him into a very successful business. He didn't know that. He just knew he found him top in Google. He lived in Texas. He fills out the form, and somebody who wasn't me picked up the phone. Somebody who wasn't me sent him an email. Somebody who wasn't me trained his dog. And then he calls me and he goes, "Bro, are you involved in Tip Top Canine?" And I said, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "I knew it. And I said, how did you know? He's like, because of the workflow. I got a text. I got a call. They did a great job. They followed up for a Google review. They got a video review. I knew it was you. I knew, bro, it was you. And so if you go to Papagallo's Pizzeria down in Florida, Satellite Beach, Florida, you're going to discover a turnkey workflow. What's a workflow? A workflow, picture in your mind what the perfect customer experience is like. So how will the customer first discover you? That's called marketing. Then when they find you, what will they find? That's called branding. By the way, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EO-FIRE, we've thought about that. That's called branding. thrivetimeshow.com/EO-FIRE. What will the customer experience? Then the next thing is when you reach out to them for the first time, when you have that magic moment, when you reach out to them and it's that first moment, will it be what will you say? What words will you say? What is the call script like? What's the environment of the restaurant going to be like? When people go to stevecurrington.com and they request a mortgage, what's that first interaction going to be like? And then after that, it's how are you going to deliver the service in a way that's unique to your industry? So with Steve, I was talking to Steve and I said, Steve, we can't be the lowest rate. We can't be, because, the lending industry, you can't really compete on rate because everybody's about the same rate. But what you can do is you can be the guy that's available basically 24/7 and who doesn't work banking hours. And he and I remember talking with him about that. And he goes, well, that's what I do anyway. And I'm like, well, let's tell the world about it. But again, you have to create that unique experience. And then after you do a great job, you have to follow up for quality control to make sure that you're doing a good job. And then you have to have the courage to ask for an objective review after you've done a great job. Now, all of that doesn't work unless you have employees that are willing to come to work. And so most people tell me, Clay, they'll say, Clay, I really struggle to find good people. I can't find good people. I just feel like because I live in Texas, it's hard to find good people. I live in New York, it's hard to find good people. Oh, don't you know, I live in Minnesota. It's hard to find good people up here in Minnesota. But what I found is all of our clients are all over the country. Very few of our clients are in Oklahoma. And what I found is that people put in a workflow process for hiring people. The process of hiring people was very easy as well. So true story, last night, we had over 45 candidates applied for a single job position that I had open. And we filled a vacancy in less than 24 hours. And you have to be able to do that when you're in my case and you have hundreds of employees. You can't take a month to find a good person, and you can't take a month to onboard somebody. You have to have a turnkey hiring process. And then, by the way, once you hire people and you have all the systems, now you got to make some money, and you have to have a turnkey workflow in place for accounting. And that's one great thing that Steve does with his mortgage company as well is, he gets you a great rate. All my friends and family use stevecurrington.com. They really do. But at the same time, he knows that he's making money, and that's how he drives a Lamborghini and then has another Lamborghini and has a plane. And then you have 3 Lamborghinis now, Steve?
Maybe 4, but
3 Lamborghinis and a plane. That's how you get 3 Lamborghinis and a plane. You have a good workflow.
Well, listen, you brought Steve on for a reason, Clay. So I want to give you co-host duties right now. Let's weave this guy in here.
Let me tell you something about Steve. And Steve has said this on his social media, so I don't think I'm putting Steve under the bus or anything. But Steve was a guy, 7 years ago was the last time you had when you had your last drink of alcohol. Is that correct?
Yep. 7 years ago, 2 days ago.
So he's been completely sober for 7 years.
Yep.
And when I met Steve has an incredible work ethic. And he had literally you became sober, I think, to kind of celebrate our first meeting. I think that was the.
Yeah. Well, it was within about 6 months of when I first started working with Clay. I quit drinking. Yep.
Yeah. And so Steve had a sober mind, but great work ethic. And he was just saying, what do I need to do to create success in my business? And so I want to walk you through some of the things we had to do, and we'll go back and forth kind of rapid fire.
Okay.
Steve, you got to do the group interview. Every single week you have to interview job candidates.
Yep.
Even if you think you're fully staffed. Why?
Well, a couple reasons. One is that you don't want to be put in a position where a key employee quits without notice, and then you're left holding the bag, because no employee is ever going to commit or quit when it's convenient for you. They rarely give you the notice that's needed. And furthermore, if someone is quitting, you probably aren't going to keep them on for 2 weeks while they take your client base from you after they notify you that they're leaving. The other thing is it sends a message to everyone else on the team that, hey, we're always looking for top tier talent. So don't be a slacker, because I got 10 candidates every Wednesday that are coming to our group interview. I don't need anybody now, but you jack around and you might be the one getting replaced. And so it brings up that level of work from those people, because they know sometimes employees get big heads and they think, without me, this business couldn't run, and you've got to have those resources there to be able to hire and to bring people on when you're not in a pinch.
And then Steve, every week you block out time. We talk about that. You have a great calendar where you block out time for certain revenue producing activities. You have a great, you have a calendar where you block things out, and you have a weekly meeting that we have together to make sure that all of the systems are being implemented. Could you maybe explain to the Fire Nation how important it is to have that weekly meeting and that calendar where you block out time for the revenue producing activities?
One of my favorite books that I ever read, Dr. Green gave me, and it was his Get Rid of People book, but I actually read it, so he didn't get rid of me, was called The E-Myth Revisited. And in the E-Myth, it talks a lot about working in your business versus working on your business. And what I tell people is when I meet with Clay every Tuesday at 7 a.m. for one of my businesses and at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays, that's the time that we're working on the business. That's the time when we're saying, hey, look, I'm going to get out of the work shoes on actually originating home loans and doing what I need to do that. I'm going to get into working on the systems and the processes and the metrics of my business so that I can continue to improve it and make sure things aren't broken.
And the next thing that he does, JLD, that I want to brag on Steve about is that Chet Holmes, may he rest in peace, the late great self-help author of, again, the book called The Ultimate Sales Machine, he once said, I'm quoting, he says, the missing ingredient for nearly all of the 1,000 plus clients that I've worked with directly to improve their business is pig-headed discipline and determination. We call that the PhD. And with Steve, it's on the agenda. We got to, every single week, we got to get objective Google reviews from our real customers. Every single week. Every week, we have to have our online ads on, and we cannot turn them off. And every single week, you have to do the Dream 100. And every single week, you have to do your group interview. Now, that's only about 4 hours of work right there, we just said, Steve. But keeping it all together and having the pig-headed determination to, when you get off the phone with me, to go into your office and actually implement the plan.
Yep.
Because if everybody out there, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, I schedule a free one-on-one consultation with anybody who I think is a good fit. And if you want to come to one of our workshops, when you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, you can name your price to attend. What does that mean? I tell people it's $250 to come to our conference or whatever you can afford, but I give you a turnkey business plan. Yep. And the reason why I only take on 160 clients and why I do it month to month, it's for my sanity. Because it makes me crazy if I'm meeting with somebody who wants to know what to do and they won't do it. I call these people an ask hole. Ask hole. They ask the question, but they don't actually implement. And Steve, you go home and you implement it, you knock it out, and you go back to your beautiful wife and you have a great time together as a family. Being a successful business owner doesn't wreck your marriage. I mean, you're able to have a great marriage and a great business, but you implement it every single week. And I think that pig-headed discipline is something that you do well, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. And the biggest thing that I can tell you when you get those systems in place that you fight, and Clay and I just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is boredom. Because then it's like, well, everything's running. When my phone rings, I answer it, but I've got a whole system in place to take care of the apps when they come in, to do everything. I've got my production manager, my processor, I've got everything rolling. I've got all my relationships. I've got everything going. And then I'm like, what am I going to do today? So I'm always looking for things to keep me busy so that I don't get, I was really good at drinking, which is why I quit.
JLD, are you hearing this? If anybody out there wants to support Steve Currington, if you want to donate to a man who has a multi-million-dollar company to help him buy another Lamborghini so we can fight boredom, you can just go to stevecurrington.com. Literally in our meetings, he tells me, he's like, I'm super bored now. Now what? Because
I'm trying to find other things to do, because I'm not saying I'm like the top mortgage originator in the world, but I make really good money originating loans, and I help a lot of people, and I like the size that we are. I like the production that we do. I like the relationships that I have. And so then it's just a matter of what's broken that I can fix in the business, or what are we not executing on? And then what other businesses can I get into? And that's another thing Clay's been a great help in doing, is finding businesses that service the mortgage industry and figuring out how to get into those businesses so that I can create more wealth and buy more Lamborghinis so that Clay can tell people that I have 9 Lambos and an airplane.
I think Fire Nation's sitting there and they're saying to themselves, I want to be whistling during the day, wondering what to do. A lot of people are just working themselves to the bone, never have enough time every day, feeling they never can come up for air, feeling overwhelmed, feeling burned out. And then you have the other end of the spectrum, and this is what Steve's talking about. And why is Steve like this? Because of these turnkey processes we're talking about, Fire Nation. Implement them, let them work for you. Clay, I'm going to hand the mic back over to you. Take us home, brother. How do you want to end this episode with a bang?
Stephen Covey, the best-selling author, he said you have to start with the end in mind. And Steve, you had an end in mind?
Yeah, well, no, I was just going to say the other thing that's super motivating when you work with someone like Clay is I didn't go to college because I think it's a joke, but I don't dog anybody that did go to college. But there's a whole lot of professors that are teaching theoretical things that they haven't done. Okay. And what I like about Clay is he's a coach that you watch him doing it. Okay. Everything he's telling me to do that he's taught me to do, I'm watching him do it, except he's executing it at 10 times the level that I am and making me feel like a weak ass, you know what? And sorry, you have to bleep that out, but that's what Clay does. Is it's not some theoretical thing of something that should work. You're watching him do it in his business, and you're watching him multiply it and duplicate it across multiple businesses. And then it's just a matter of going, well, when am I going to stop being a knucklehead and jump in and start implementing that? So even though I feel like I do a pretty good job, I feel so weak when I compare myself to someone like Clay, because I'm like, oh wow, I got up at 5 today. Clay probably got up at 3:30.
You know?
Right. And so there's always that, you've got a coach that is helping you in your business, but he's doing the things. And I think that's important to say, that rather than the guy who's giving you tips that should work that he read in a book.
I'll say this in closing. If you're out there today and you feel like you want to achieve success, if you want time freedom, if you want financial freedom, if you want to become a success story, there's 3 steps you need to take. Step 1, you go to thrivetimeshow.com and watch testimonials. Look into the eyes of young people, old people, middle-aged people, men, women, black people, white people, all different ethnicities, and see the success they're having. And then step 2, ask yourself, do you have what it takes? Because if you have the tenacity, I promise you have the mental capacity needed to achieve success. My son is 16 years old. He's actually a client, by the way, right now, JLD. He's up to 24 lawns a week that he's mowing with his company called Well Done Lawns. And he just had to ask the question, Dad, could you help me build a multi-million-dollar company? And by the way, we're a third of the way there already. He's 16 years old. So if you have the capacity and tenacity of a 16-year-old, you too can do it. Just go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, schedule your consultation today, book your ticket at the next in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing them every 2 months since 2005. I'm very confident this is one of the reasons why I'm alive. My ability to help you scale your company is something I want to share with you. And JLD, I'm just honored you would share your audience with me, and I hope everybody out there continues to listen. Thank you again, JLD.
Oh, I love that so much. And I met said son, Fire Nation. I can tell you what an inspiring and incredible human being, and that kid is off to the races for sure. So Clay, Steve, thank you for sharing your truth, knowledge, value with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, Fire Nation, a huge thank you to our sponsors and Clay for sponsoring today's episode. And Fire Nation, podcasting's fun. You can tell. If you want to start your own podcast, visit freepodcastcourse.com. It's free. It's awesome. freepodcastcourse.com. Check it out. Peace. As business owners, it's part of our job to stay ahead of the curve. And with AI stealing the show these days, it's time to study up. But where do you even start? Start with HubSpot. HubSpot's AI-powered tools, including their content assistant and chat spot, are changing the way you create content and communicate and serve your customers. Take HubSpot's content assistant as an example. It helps you brainstorm, create, and share content in no time. And you can do it all right inside their super easy to use CRM platform. And with ChatSpot, HubSpot's conversational bot and CRM whiz, you can not only quickly pull reports for data and metrics, but also learn how to automate manual tasks inside HubSpot for better engagement with customers and more closed deals. These tools run on OpenAI's GPT model, and both are designed to help you get more done, all while growing a better business faster. Find out more about how to use AI to grow your business at HubSpot.com/artificial-intelligence. Many EOFire listeners have launched non-food franchises, and FranBridge Consulting has guided them. FranBridge's founder and frequent EOFire guest, John Austenson, has done more placements than any other in the country, and his service is free. Sign up for a consultation with John or get a copy of his book, Non-Food Franchising, at franbridgeconsulting.com.
Well, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to give you a lot of encouragement because we're going to introduce you to an actual human who's not a hologram, who's had massive success. John Kelly, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Oh man, doing great. Glad to be here.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. And you're welcome. Now, where are you based, sir? And what's the name of your company?
So we're out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The name of the company is Kelly Construction Group.
And
Our office is really in Walker, but Baton Rouge is the closest city, if you will.
What's the website people can go to if they want to verify that you're not a hologram?
KellyConstructionGroup.com.
And how long has Sean worked with you, or have we worked with you within like a business coaching relationship?
I would say like mid 2018 to 2019 early. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah, May 23rd will be our 5-year anniversary.
Wow. Now, a lot of times people get together. I see a lot of businessy people. They get together businessy, and they kind of a businessy environment, and they talk about visions and dreams, but they don't actually execute and produce results. Not that they're bad people. It's just they talk in circles. They have ideas, but they don't execute. What kind of a growth, Sean, has John Kelly been able to see with his company over these past 5 years? Has he grown by 4%?
Oh, it's a massive percentage. I had him go ahead and open up his tracking sheet here because I know our listeners really appreciate the hard numbers. And we've been tracking with John Kelly since we very first started with Kelly Construction Group. Can you tell us, John, where were your revenues at the end of the year in 2018?
Yeah, at the end of 2018, we were probably just below that $2 million mark. And I think the question was, how much have we grown? You know, this last year we were right at the $8 million mark.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in that few years, we've got up to around $8 million a year.
So from $2 million to $8 million. Now, Sean, again, I am, is $8 million more than 2 in your professional opinion?
Professionally, I have to say it is. I think it's roughly in the neighborhood of 4 times as much. It's like 400%.
Okay. And so again, and John Kelly's not a hologram. He's a real guy. We mentioned his website. So now the question is, what are the things that you guys have done together? Because the way that a coaching relationship works, much like hiring a personal trainer, I mean, you could pay the fee, hire a personal trainer, but if you never show up for the workouts, it's hard to get any results. Much like, buying groceries, if you don't put them in your car and take them home, it doesn't benefit you. You guys have worked together to achieve a lot of success. What kind of stuff have you guys worked on together, Sean?
I was looking back at the very first week of notes, and we were working on the Google presence right off the bat. I know John loves it when I bring up his Google reviews every single week, but he is the highest and most reviewed general contractor in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So Google was a big piece initially, and we've developed that into additional marketing we can talk about today too. But we have the numbers for Google. We did a deep dive before this show today to determine what our return on was with the Google marketing. Can I share those numbers here?
Let's share those numbers. Surely you shall share.
Surely I shall share these numbers. So these are all numbers that John dove back into his leads to find, but we've spent about, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, John, but on Google, we have spent total dollars towards that marketing, $24,607. Does that seem right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool. So then out of that, we brought in $3,532,537 worth of sales.
Wait, how much did you invest in the Google advertisement?
That was $24,607 were invested.
Yep.
And we made $3.532 million with 537 on top of that. So $3,532,537. We got very specific.
Wow. Okay. So I got to ask you this, John. I'm going to pull this up. This is a diagram. Maybe you've seen this before. Maybe you haven't. I'm going to pull this up here. This is sort of how the linear approach that we sort of look at your business behind the scenes here. And this could be, if anyone wants to download this, you can go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, and you can download this from page 5 of my newest book, How to Become a Millionaire. But establishing revenue goals. Do you have those clear, John, in your mind? Like, as far as, you don't have to share them, but I mean, do you have clearly in your mind goals for your company now?
Yes, we do. And that's something we kind of revisit, yearly, I guess, if you will.
Now, as far as the numbers to break even, a lot of times people hear a big number. If you're maybe new to entrepreneurship, you hear a big number, you're like, wow, this guy's awesome. He probably wears gold-plated shoes. But then if you've been self-employed, you're probably going, There's probably a lot of expenses there. So the numbers to break even, why is that important for you to know how much sales you have to do just to keep the lights on?
Yeah, if you want to make money, you got to know what it costs to do the business, right? Because you got to make sure you make at least that. So yeah, we know the break even number. And again, that's something that we look at often in our meetings.
Now, the number of hours you're willing to work. One thing about you that's always been fun is you're just a kind person. Sean's always bragging on you behind the scenes. You're just a nice guy. And it seems like you're a committed guy. You know, people love you. And you probably have, hours that you work hard, but you also know when it's time to spend time with family and that kind of thing. Was that something you guys had to work through together, or have you, because we have some clients that work a 4-day work week and some that work 6. I mean, has that been something, John, that you've had to kind of figure out in your own life, the rhythm that works best for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I tell Sean this from time to time, that it's like I never answer an out of town number. So whatever day he called, somehow we connected. It was an out of town number, but I answered, and caught me in a stage of burnout for sure. Like I was kind of wore out with everything that was happening with the business. And he said all the right stuff. Like basically, hey, we can take this grind and make it something you can enjoy. And we started doing that. So early on, I was working tons of hours. I still work kind of whatever hours it takes, but we've been able to put some pieces in place that definitely gets me on a lot more regular schedule. Even get to slip out of here and do some stuff I want from time to time. So yeah, we look at hours, and like I say, early on I was working crazy hours. I still do whatever it takes, but we definitely got that dialed back to a lot more controllable number now.
Now, brag it on Sean and you both, because it's a win-win relationship. Coaching is kind of a bizarre thing because, I, in my own life, I hire an accountant. Now, for full disclosure, I use a company called CCK. I hope that my recommendation of them doesn't hurt their business, but I work with CCK. And the reason why we pay them thousands of dollars a month is because I want my numbers to not drift. Just like you're driving a car, if you're driving a car and you say, wow, I'm in the shoulder. You don't want to drift. And the purpose of coaching is to repetitively go over the same things every week and to make sure that a business owner isn't drifting. And what I found is people like yourself that embrace that, you kind of like, maybe, I don't know if it's the accountability or if it's just the steering or the course correction. Could you maybe talk about the importance of going over those same repetitive core action items every week?
Yeah, no, I think accountability is the biggest thing, Clay, just because it's important stuff, but as a business owner, you get really bogged down with just everything that's going on. And those are some of the easiest things to neglect. So having Sean there every Friday keeps me a little bit on point. That's not to say I do that's not to say I get it right every time, Sean, but I do my best effort, and it's good to have that accountability. And we look at it week in and week out. And since we have continued to look at it, we are able to stay on point way better than we have in the past.
And that website again, Sean, what's the website we need to go to check it out there?
Kelly Construction Group.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this up so people can see it's Kelly Construction Group.
You'll want to go to the second one there, because there's 2 Kelly Construction Groups. There's only one in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
A lot of confusion. Got to rise above it.
Type in
here we go.
Type in Kelly Construction Group.
KellyConstructionGroup.com. Group.com.
That's KELLY, not
KELLY. Typing it in. A lot of struggles. Got to keep your finger on the home row here, folks. KellyConstructionGroup.com.
Oh yeah.
Click and enter. Waiting for it to happen. Feel the flow. Working it. There it is. Okay, so when we go to the website, we see the website. We see, okay, that's the result. Okay, but we go back here to this page. Your unique value proposition. You guys work together on figuring out what it is that you do that sets you apart from the competition. Your gallery clearly showcases what you do. How is that helpful for you to have somebody sit down with you and figure out, okay, what is your niche?
Yeah, no, that's big too. And obviously, I wouldn't say that we have a really tight niche, but where we try to excel is just, we know where construction companies struggle, and we try to make sure that we're good everywhere they're not. And I think we do a good job doing that. That's kind of our approach.
Yeah, and you guys do wonderful quality construction. People love you. Now, improving the branding. What we found with you, and I remember these discussions coming up, is you had done a great job for a lot of people, but there was no proof online that was true. So it was like you had great people that said great things about you, but there was we couldn't prove it. So we had to take the proof of testimonials or actual clients that loved you. And we didn't say, here's a gun to your head, say positive things about John Kelly. No, it was more of like, okay, you've worked with John. Can we get you on video to just share about your success working with him? How has that impacted your business? Having actual clients that you've actually done real work for be testimonials on your website?
Yeah, that is really good. I mean, it's nice to be able to just point somebody to the website and say, look, hear from some people that we work for. They're not just taking our word for it. We have, real life people on video, in different settings talking about our company. So it's been a really good feature to have.
And it's an honor to work with someone like you. This is a true story, Sean. There was about 3 weeks ago, I was working with a guy and he wanted to become a client. And I was telling him, I said, well, the first thing we want to do when we work with you right away, we're going to go through this system. We're going to go through these 14 steps. We're going to establish your revenue goals. We're going to help you figure out your break-even numbers. We're going to figure out the hours you want to work, the unique value proposition. We're going to help you improve your branding. He's fired up.
Yeah.
And I said, and then we're going to have to call your former customers and get objective reviews on both Google and video.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I got to be honest. That's not going to go well for me. I go, why? He's like, well, I mean, you see, I've got a lot of people who are upset with me right now. I'm like, a lot? He's like, oh yeah, that's part of the problem. See, I started some construction jobs, didn't finish them. True story. Didn't finish them. Took payment. Didn't finish them. So I'm kind of trying to change the name of the company, kind of doing a 180, and that happens sometimes. So again, that's why we only take on a certain number of clients, because we want to work with high quality people here. It's a real thing. Now, creating a marketing stool, a three-legged marketing stool, a way to get customers that is sustainable, that doesn't involve you running around hucking business cards at Chamber of Commerce events. John, how helpful has that been, knowing that you have search engine optimization happening every day, reputation management happening, those ads running? How has that helped you focus on your main thing, which is doing great quality construction?
Yeah, it helps a lot. I mean, our background was a lot of public bid. We didn't do a ton of marketing. So this three-legged marketing stool really helps get a lot of leads through the door, more so than we've had in the past by a lot. So just the comfort of knowing that we're not just sitting there waiting on a public bid schedule to come out and see what we can bid. We have some other good jobs coming in that we can bid.
Yeah, I wanted to pile on that.
Yeah,
I have some more awesome numbers. I'm the numbers guy.
Go for it.
All right, so the Dream 100 system is another one of that three-legged marketing stool that we've implemented with John. And his total spend, he's buying cookies and dropping them off to architects. It's amazing what those cookies do, right, John? Those cookies brought in $5,128,077 worth of sales.
Wait. The Dream 100 is brought in how much?
Dream 100 are $16,089 we spent.
$16,089. Okay, expenses. Yep.
We brought in $5,128,077
of income.
Yes.
Dream 100 income,
Mm-hmm.
which again, if you look at the number and you go, man, 16,000, is that smaller than 5 million?
That's a 3,128.47% return on marketing investment with that system.
Now I want to pull this up real quick. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com/does-it-work, we have examples of real people we've worked with. And we try to archive and document the proven systems so that people can know that they do work. Oh, look at him. There he is.
There he is. That was right after we started right there. He'd had a few $1 million worth of work coming through his office for the Dream 100 and got him fired up to keep going.
So what would you say, John, to somebody other that says, the Dream 100, reaching out to my ideal and likely buyers and my ideal referral sources on a monthly or weekly basis and dropping off to them $16,089 of cookies over a 5-year period of time? That'll never work.
Yeah, man, I'd say you got to do it. It's unbelievable, actually. And it's worked great for us. And it's, we really got a name out there, not even based off our work, but just based off of cookies. But,
now, John, I got to ask you this because this is a thing I deal with a lot. This is something I deal with a lot, and I'm not being disparaging of any clients. I'm just being very clear because this is a real thing. I used to work back in the day with the church, and I worked with this church and I helped them grow dramatically. I think they're still listed as a testimonial somewhere on our website. And the pastor at one point, he says, Clay, I've decided I'm not going to do coaching anymore. I'm going to go, I've got my cousin, they're going to come in and work with me and we're going to do it. So it's fine, because we have so many people that reach out. And so I'm not going to hold somebody as a hostage if they don't want to be a client anymore. Well, about, 4 months later, he's going, hey, can we talk? I said, what's going on? He said, man, the Dream 100 is not working. The website's not ranked anymore. The ads aren't on. Everything's falling apart, man. Can I come back? And I go, we only take on 160 clients. So I don't know that I have a spot for you, but maybe we could in a few months. But I did give him a teaching moment. And I said, as I was telling you, growing a business is like planting a garden. You have to pull those weeds every week. You can't just do it monthly. What would happen if you transitioned into, monthly coaching or bi-monthly coaching or quarterly coaching, or there's a lot of programs that do the quarterly. And I only know this because people call me after they've spent $30,000 on a quarterly coaching program. What would happen if you didn't have that weekly touch point there?
Yeah, it wouldn't work, because there's a massive amount of stuff to keep your fingers on. And without somebody like Sean, asking every week, hey man, how are we looking on this? How are we, what are we doing here? Get behind real quick. So I don't see it working if it's weekly is about as small a window as you could give it.
Yeah. Now, and this
larger window as you could give it, I guess. Really,
this is interesting. When I used to charge, when I used to charge $5,000 and $6,000 a month to work with clients, I used to do daily check-ins with every single client. And the reason why I switched to a weekly format was daily. My clients were all growing, but I think they got to a place where they all wanted to physically assault me. They were all like, we're growing, man. Get off me, man. So the weekly gave us that healthy space and gave the client enough room. But now we move on to these systems, the sales systems. You got sales scripts. You got recorded calls, you got one sheet, you got a lead tracker. Can you talk about the importance of having written down documented scripts and a lead tracking system so you know where leads are coming from?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the systems just save a lot of time for me. Everybody's not coming to me asking how you do this, how you do that. We kind of have a system spelled out for most of the things in our business at this point. And then that lead tracking is just important. Just you're getting so many leads and doing so many different things that it's hard to stay on top of it. So having that lead tracking page there where we can see, one, where our leads are coming from, and two, what leads are out there that we need to take care of. It's big. It keeps us on track, keeps us moving in the right direction on what we're bidding and what jobs we actually have in progress and all that. So
now I'm going to skip through a couple of the boxes. Again, you can go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire and download all this, and you can watch it, look at it for free on page 5. But we're going to go to human resources. A big thing that Clay Stairs does, that Sean does, that all these wonderful coaches do is they make sure that you're not in a spot where you can't find good people. Because that's one of the biggest things I hear. People say, oh man, I would love to do the system, but I can't find good people, because in Louisiana, right now, in Oklahoma, this time of the year, in Minnesota with the weather, California, with all the hipsters everywhere, but Boston, with the, since Brady left, it's been tough. There's a lot of, but we have a hiring system that we teach. Could you talk about the importance of the idea of never stopping recruiting, hosting a group interview, just constantly looking at new people? Can you talk about that, John?
Yeah, as you mentioned, good people can be really hard to find. So without a continuous search, it'd be really difficult to fill a position you need. But we've been doing this recruiting that you guys taught us. We've hired close to 9 people. I think it's around 9 people at this point through that system. Everybody's stuck with us, so we're getting quality people. We literally lost one person that we've hired through this system in the past 5 years. So it's really important. It gives you high quality people and people that stick. And then, like you say, you continually looking for talent. So when somebody does pop up, you try to take advantage of it.
Now, in my dad's shifting gears, my dad's funeral, he died of Lou Gehrig's disease several years back. And when he died, there was a finality to that. And that was pretty rough for me. It was just, wow. Leading up to that, though, discovering he had Lou Gehrig's disease, one of the things I said was, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to call everybody that knows my dad, and I'm going to see if I can fly him out to talk to him so that, they could tell him what he means to him while he's alive. And that way my dad could hear it because when you have Lou Gehrig's disease, everybody stops by and says, "Are you okay?" And they don't know what to do. And it's this tough process, but people a lot of times don't hear the positive things about themselves until someone moves on or something. And I would just love, because you guys have a really cool win-win relationship, and John is always running around here bragging on you. I want to ask you, Sean, what has made John such a great client to work with? Because he's just salt of the earth. We absolutely love him. What makes him so great to work with?
John's just a very kind soul, as you mentioned earlier. He's always got a good attitude, whether things are going great or not. He's able to smile his way through it. And when it comes to his team, he does a great job with that mixture of being that accountability force and also being that good kind of morale family guy at the same time. But he really takes this all very seriously. And whether he likes hearing what I have to say about what the numbers are telling me or what his performance is like, he always takes it to heart. He doesn't fight me on any of that. And he's here to grow for the sake of his F6 goals and his family's goals. And he's just an honest, diligent guy. And that's a rare enough thing out there.
Now, John, I always hear Sean bragging on you. So it's kind of a one-sided thing. But for anybody out there that's thinking about, reaching out and scheduling a one-on-one consultation to see if it's a good fit, what's it been like working with Sean? I mean, week after week for 5 years. A lot of people don't know people for 5 years. Think about that. Most people do not know people for 5 years. You guys have worked together every week. You've gone through a lot of stuff together. What's it been like working with Sean?
Yeah, Sean's a great guy. One thing about Sean, he practices what he preaches. He's very diligent. He stays on schedule. If he says he's going to do things, he does them. Same thing for your team. He says, "Hey, we're going to get the team to do this." The team does it. So it's nice to see you guys are doing what you're telling us to do. And I can see it working on your side. We see it working on our side. I think one of the big benefits that you guys have done for us is kind of pushed us to the next level on a few things. We were kind of standing at the edge of the cliff, if you will, like for hiring people, for marketing and those few things. And when Sean's been able to push us to go ahead and make those hires, go ahead and start doing that marketing, and those things have paid off well for us.
Well, what would you say to anybody out there that's contemplating? They say, "I'm thinking about coming to a conference or scheduling a one-on-one consultation." Who would not be a good fit in your mind, and who would be a good fit there, sir?
Well, somebody that's willing to dig deep and take a few slaps across the head when you're not doing something right. But overall, anybody just willing to really get in and work, and it's going to take somebody that's willing to trust something that they may not know to be true, but to lean into you guys for that and take your word for it and do what you're telling them to make it happen.
John, thank you for carving out time from your busy schedule. And again, folks, you can verify he's not a hologram. That's kellyconstructiongroup.com. And if you're listening now today and you happen to be in his service area, I believe that John, you no longer service Ecuador or Brazil or the Nordic countries, Antarctica, well, that's out of the picture anymore. I think you and Sean focused. You're no longer working with South Korea and Australia. What is the service area that you're focusing on? There's somebody listening right now that's in that area. What is the service area that you're focusing on? What city or what area?
Yeah, we're in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area.
So if you're in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, and you need construction and remodeling, that's the services you provide, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but if you're in Ecuador, you're looking for Thatch, he's not your guy. It's not a match.
In Ecuador.
It's not a match for Thatch.
We got out of that business.
John Kelly, thank you so much, brother. Have a great day.
Thanks, John.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah, so here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy's just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk, kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. As you can see, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. you can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, and we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.